degree and place it here. Now let's resize it and change the fill color to white and remove the outline. Now let's duplicate the shape and change its width to 15 centimeter. Rotate it, place it over here and rotate it a little more. Make sure the rotation value is set to 239 degree. Click OK. Move it. A little bit adjustment is needed and our main design is almost complete. Now let's write this text by using some text box. Click text box and click on the draw text box and draw a text box over here. Set the font size to 80 and a matching font type. Now write the text. Remove the white background from the text box by clicking Shape Fill and No Fill, and also remove the shape outline. Now duplicate it by holding Ctrl key and change the text size to 14. Write your subtitle. Now select a line shape and draw it over here under the margin and change its outline color to black. Resize it if needed. Let's move the text box and shapes over here. I'm using keyboard arrows to move the objects. Draw another text box and write your texts. Here I have just used a shortcut called rand which creates some random texts. I'm using Ctrl C to copy V to paste. Write a subheading if needed. Copy and paste this subheading over here. Select the text and remove extra spacing between them by clicking remove space after paragraph and set the spacing value to 1.0. Okay, a little bit of adjustment here. This is the main heading. When you are done, remove the background color and outline color. I forgot to leave space for the barcode, so I need to reposition these shapes and the text boxes. Let's remove these extra pieces from this line and let's move it little upward. The best thing about using text boxes is you can move them anywhere, anytime. Now let's create another text box or duplicate one and write the bottom part. Make it smaller and move it to its correct place. Open the internet and search for ISBN number generator and open this link. Now type in any random ISBN number starting with 978 and hit refresh. Now click download and your picture of ISBN code will be downloaded. Let's click insert and picture degree and place it here. Now let's resize it and change the fill color to white and remove the outline. Now let's duplicate the shape and change its width to 15 centimeter. Rotate it, place it over here and rotate it a little more. Make sure the rotation value is set to 239 degree. Click OK. Move it. A little bit adjustment is needed and our main design is almost complete. Now let's write this text by using some text box. Click text box and click on the draw text box and draw a text box over here. Set the font size to 80 and a matching font type. Now write the text. Remove the white background from the text box by clicking Shape Fill and No Fill, and also remove the shape outline. Now duplicate it by holding Ctrl key and change the text size to 14. Write your subtitle. Now select a line shape and draw it over here under the margin and change its outline color to black. Resize it if needed. Let's move the text box and shapes over here. I'm using keyboard arrows to move the objects. Draw another text box and write your texts. Here I have just used a shortcut called rand which creates some random texts. I'm using Ctrl C to copy V to paste. Write a subheading if needed. Copy and paste this subheading over here. Select the text and remove extra spacing between them by clicking remove space after paragraph and set the spacing value to 1.0. Okay, a little bit of adjustment here. This is the main heading. When you are done, remove the background color and outline color. I forgot to leave space for the barcode, so I need to reposition these shapes and the text boxes. Let's remove these extra pieces from this line and let's move it little upward. The best thing about using text boxes is you can move them anywhere, anytime. Now let's create another text box or duplicate one and write the bottom part. Make it smaller and move it to its correct place. Open the internet and search for ISBN number generator and open this link. Now type in any random ISBN number starting with 978 and hit refresh. Now click download and your picture of ISBN code will be downloaded. Let's click insert and picture.
And specifically using it to create documents like reports, essays, handouts, flyers, things like that. And so I'm just going to go down here and click on Microsoft Word. If you don't have Word down here on the taskbar, you can just click here on Search Windows and do a search for Microsoft Word to see if it's on your computer. If that doesn't turn up anything, then it's not installed on your computer. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and click on that to start it up, and Microsoft Word opens right up, and it gives me right away a bunch of templates that I can choose from to help me get started creating documents using Microsoft Word. And you can see that there's all sorts of great documents. They have trifold brochures, they have event menus, they have blog posts, all sorts of different templates that you can use. This is the beginner's guide to using Microsoft Word, and specifically using it to create documents like reports, essays, handouts, flyers, things like that. And so I'm just going to go down here and click on Microsoft Word. If you don't have Word down here on the taskbar, you can just click here on Search Windows and do a search for Microsoft Word to see if it's on your computer. If that doesn't turn up anything, then it's not installed on your computer. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and click on that to start it up, and Microsoft Word opens right up, and it gives me right away a bunch of templates that I can choose from to help me get started creating documents using Microsoft Word. And you can see that there's all sorts of great documents. They have trifold brochures, they have event menus, they have blog posts, all sorts of different templates that you can use. Also across the top, notice that you can filter them by category. So I could just show business templates, I could show event templates, labels, and so on. And notice that there is an education category. You can also search for online templates here. So templates can be a great time saver. You can just select one of these templates to open it up and then edit it and use it for your own purposes. But in this tutorial, we're going to focus just on creating starting from scratch. And so I'm going to click here where it says blank document, and it opens up the Microsoft Word layout and a blank document. Now, there is so much to Word. Most people don't really use Word to its full capabilities. But in this tutorial, I'm really going to focus on the basics, on those essentials that you need to know to start using Microsoft Word effectively. And one of the first things I'm going to do is just close this panel here at the left that says navigation. It's a nice panel, but I'm going to get rid of that and close that out. Next, I want to give you a quick tour of what you're seeing here in the layout. You'll notice that across the top we have tabs. We have the Home tab, Insert tab, Design tab, and this is very similar to Excel, Microsoft Excel, and also Microsoft PowerPoint. If you've watched my other tutorials, you already know about this Microsoft Office layout. But for those who maybe haven't watched those other tutorials, just a quick intro. Each of these tabs, when you click on it, will give you a different ribbon. And that's what they call this. This is the ribbon. And the ribbon changes based on the tab that you click. Okay, so if I want to change something about the layout, I click on layout and then I look at the layout ribbon and see what I can do. Now, each ribbon is divided up into groups. So this is the page setup group, this is the paragraph group, and the arrange group. Now, what if I want to insert something, maybe a picture or a photo? I would go to the Insert tab and click, and I get the Insert ribbon with lots and lots of different groups. Now, one thing about groups that you need to be aware of is some groups will have a little launch button in the corner. So here's an example of a launch button. The paragraph group has a launch button, but the arrange group doesn't. At least for me, it doesn't. The page setup group has a launch button. So what are these launch buttons and why do you need to know about them? Well, basically, whenever you see a launch button, what that means is that there are more tools, but that they couldn't fit them in the space provided in the group. So if I don't see one of the font options that I would like to have, I look through these to see if it's there. And if it's not, I can just click here on the launch button and then I'll get even more options. Another example over here in the styles group, there's a few styles, but if I click here, then I get many, many more styles to choose from and some options that I don't see just by looking at the group itself. So watch out for that launch button. Okay, now down here, I have the page of my document. This is my Word document, and it's completely blank at this time. A couple of things that I want you to know about before you get started making a document. First of all, I don't know about you, but I like to be able to see the document, at least its width. And so I'm going to go down here in the lower right corner and change the zoom level. So it was at 200%, and that was a little bit too big for me. Maybe 150, maybe 125, something like that, that will be a little bit easier to fit on the screen. So I think I'll just go with this, 100%. Now in this tutorial, I'm using Microsoft Word 2016 for Windows. But if you're using an older version of Microsoft Word or even a future version of Microsoft Word or Word for Mac, most of what I'm showing you will still be applicable. But one of the things that I kind of miss from an older version of Microsoft Word is I miss the rulers. I'm used to having a ruler across the top and also down the left side to help me know the size of the page that I'm working with. So I'm going to go here and look and see where might there be an option to show the ruler. And I would think it would be maybe here in the layout options. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you're having trouble finding an option like I am right now, You don't need to really hunt and search for it very much. If it's not quickly showing up, all you need to do is go here to the top where it says, tell me what you want to do, and do a search. So I'll do a search for rulers, and look, right there at the top, there's an option that says show ruler, and I can click on it, and immediately the rulers pop up. Okay, so I'm happy now with the look of Microsoft Word. Okay, now I'm ready to start creating a wonderful document. And let's say this document is going to be a handout or a worksheet for my students. I can just go in and start creating. So I'll just provide a space there for the name of the student, the class period, and I'm just typing and hitting return or enter on the keyboard. And I would like this to be the title of my document. Now, this is pretty typical, but what I would do here is highlight the text, and immediately I get a pop-up here with some options that I have, but I can also go here to the Home tab, Home ribbon. That's where you'll find the most commonly needed options in Microsoft Word. And so look, there is center, and that's what I was hoping for. I can also underline if I want to. I can make it bold, and there's all sorts of options that you have there. I could make the text bigger, but more often than not, instead of making all of these fine-tuned adjustments, what I often do is I use these styles. And so to show that, I'm going to click the undo button several times to go back to just the text. So with just the text selected, I'm going to go here where it says styles, and I'll go to heading number 1. And you can see what it does. It changes the color, it makes it bigger, changes the font a little bit. There's also heading number 2 and several other options. Title would be a good one as well. And I'm going to go with title. Now, regardless of which one you pick, if you want, you can still adjust it. Like I would still like that to be centered. I would still like it to be underlined. And I think that looks really nice. So now I hit enter or return, and I can proceed to create this worksheet. I can type in instructions for my students, and Microsoft Word handles most of the work. I'm just typing, hitting enter, moving down. Now, I can also click to move around using the mouse, but watch what happens. I can only click so far. It's not letting me go past the current line that I've typed. I can go to the right side of it, but that's as far as it'll let me go. I can go back up, though, by clicking and make changes, make adjustments. Okay, and I'm really ruining this document, aren't I? So I'll just undo a few times. But the point is that if you want to put in some blank space and then type something below, you're going to have to tap enter a few times to move the cursor down, and then you'll be able to type down below. Now, when you get to the bottom of the page, you hit enter, and look, it just takes you automatically to page number 2. Now, a few other essential things to know about Microsoft Word include how to insert pictures, because that's really one of the powerful things about Microsoft Word. And you heard me say the keyword there, didn't you? It's insert. So I click on insert and look at the options that I have for things to insert into this document. All sorts of things, including Wikipedia articles, online videos, all sorts of neat things. But in this case, I'm going to go to Pictures, and that automatically accessed my computer. And now I can browse my computer to find pictures that I can then pull in and use in my document. So I'll pull in this skeleton. Now, whenever you put a photo or an image into Microsoft Word, it brings up some difficulties. For example, that is not at all where I wanted that photo to be. I wanted it to be here, in between the text up here and the text down below. And so this is a problem. The other problem is the photo came in way too big. So let's fix some of these issues. The first thing I'm going to do is click on the picture. Now, something subtle just happened. When I clicked on that photo, look what happened. I got an additional tab and ribbon that appeared at the top of Microsoft Word. And this is going to be very important. Anytime you click on something, especially something special like a photo or a video, it's going to give you some extra options. In this case, the format options. First thing I want to do, though, is just resize this image. So with it selected, I can just go to the corner, any corner, click and drag to shrink that photo down to size a little bit. And that's a lot better. Now, I'm struggling. I'm trying to drag it up to the place I want it to be, but it's just not quite cooperating with me. The reason why is because this photo has some specific layout options that come pre-selected by default. And so I need to change those layout options. Now, in this latest version of Microsoft Word, when you click on a photo, you'll get this little button that pops up. You can then click on it to change the layout options. But just like in older versions of Microsoft Word, you also have the option to right-click and go to Wrap Text, and that will give you the same options. So here in Wrap Text, I'm going to go with in front of text or behind text. Either one will work great. I guess I'll choose behind text. And now you can see what happened. Now it's moving much more freely. I was not able to do this before. I was not able to click and drag and put the picture wherever I wanted it to be. But just by changing the options to behind text or in front of text, now it's unlocked that photo, and I can put it literally anywhere in this document that I want it to be. It could even be up here in the header or in the footer. It really doesn't matter. So that's a nice little trick that you'll want to know and be able to use in your own documents. I also want you to know that you can insert online pictures, and this is a great option. You can connect to the internet and do searches and find images, find clip art and things that are on the web, and then just click and drag to drop them into your project. So that's a really nice option to have. Now, before we move away from the photo and move on to other topics, I want you to notice this Format tab that I mentioned earlier. When you click on a photo and then the Format tab, it gives you some options to do some things that are really nice. You can remove the background. In this case, it wasn't very successful in how it removed the background. You can alter the color scheme in lots of ways. You can do some corrections, and there's some artistic effects. And so there's some really pretty exciting things. You could come up with some creepy images here with this skeleton. I'm going to undo that. But these photo effects are really pretty nice. You can compress the picture as well and do some other exciting things. There's also some picture styles. For example, you can put a frame around Mr. Skeleton here, and there's all sorts of different frames. You can have a kind of a fuzzy border around the skeleton if you'd like. You can make it almost 3D with some of these 3D effects. So some really nice options. You can also crop, and you'll be surprised how often this is helpful and necessary. So when I clicked on crop, it gave me some additional lines and edges and things like that. So I can use that to crop out part of the photo. Whoops. And I have to make sure I get the exact line there. And then I can just click outside the box and it makes that crop effective. So watch out for this Format tab. It'll appear and give you some wonderful options that you need to be aware of. There are also all sorts of other great options, especially shapes are especially good. You can put in arrows, you can put in callouts, you can put in squares, rectangles, circles, plus signs, all sorts of great shapes that are useful, especially for teachers and students. And I want you to know that you can also add a text box. Now, how is a text box special? How is it different from the regular text that you're typing in? Basically, a text box is additional text that can float on top of your document. So I'm going to go with a simple text box, and I'll type in a wonderful message here and then click away. This text box now can be dragged wherever I want it to go. Now, it is interacting with that text, and if I don't want that to happen, I can use this button here to make it be behind the text, the other text, or in front of the text. I'm going to go with behind, and so now I can drag it freely. So similarly to how I fixed this photo and made it so that I could drag it anywhere I wanted it to be, it's similar with text that's in a text box. Okay, now here in the Review tab, a few other basics that you need to know about. Whenever you're writing a paper or a report or even a worksheet like this, it's important to get the spelling right. And you can see here on the Review tab, you can click Spelling and Grammar, and it will check for spelling mistakes. It looks like it found one. I don't know how I possibly misspelled this word, but I did. And if it can, Microsoft Word will suggest alternate spellings that are correct. In this case, I've got it stumped a little bit, so I'll close that out. But I just wanted to point that out. The spelling and grammar in Word is great and is really one of the basic essentials that you need to know if you're going to be using Microsoft Word. There's also some great options like word count. If you're a student, teacher has said, I want you to create a 2,000 word essay or report, you can just click to get a word count, and it'll tell you how many characters, how many words, how many pages, etc. There's also a wonderful thesaurus to help you use a variety of words instead of using the same word over and over. That's very helpful. Okay, so let's say you're done with your document and it's time to get ready to turn it in. If you're a student and you're finishing an assignment, let's say, or maybe you're a teacher and you've put together what you want to print and give to the students, how do you go from there? Well, one of the first things that you need to do is to consider if you have the right line spacing and things like that, especially for students. Maybe the teacher has said, I want you to double space your paper. How do you do that? Well, here on the Home tab, Home ribbon, you can go to Paragraph Group and look right here. This is the line and paragraph spacing options. And you can go in and say, I want double spaced. Now, for that to really be effective, you need to click and drag to highlight the text that you want to affect. So now when I do line spacing, set it at 2, now my paragraph has double spaced text. I also want you to notice that you have font color options and all sorts of typical font options that you're probably very accustomed to on all sorts of tools and on the internet. There's different fonts to choose from here as well. Okay, so I'm happy with this. I'm good. Of course, I could change the margins at the left and right using this ruler tool, but if I don't want to mess with that, I'll just leave it as is. Now, to finish this off, I just go to File, and I have a bunch of different options. First, I really should save this, and I can click Save. I can save it just to this PC, and I could save it directly, let's say, to the desktop or to my documents. But also notice that there's an option to save it to OneDrive. And if you're not familiar with OneDrive, please watch my YouTube video on OneDrive. It's a wonderful tool, similar to Dropbox, but extra good for Microsoft Office and Microsoft Word in this case. Now, to access that, it would be helpful to sign in to your Microsoft account. And that way, like it says here, you can get to your documents from anywhere because you'll be signed in to your Microsoft Office account and basically OneDrive. In this case, though, I'll just save it to my desktop. It opens up and I just give it a name. So there's the name I want to use. I click Save and we're good to go. And of course, I can also click there on File and I could print it now that I've saved. I could have printed it without saving, but it's a good idea to save first, just so you don't forget. But I could now print, and there's all these print options. Now, in addition to print and save, notice what else that there is. There's export, and this is very powerful. I could create a PDF out of this document. So I can click that, save it, also to the desktop in this case. And so now, when I go to my desktop, look, there is a PDF document that I've created from inside Microsoft Word. And here's the original in Word format. So that's a nice, powerful option just built right into Word. So I'm done. So I'm going to close out of this document completely, go to my desktop. Let's say next week I need this same document. I can just go back to Word, open it up, and look, because it was recently created, it shows up here. So this is a list of recently created documents on this computer, and there it is at the top. Now, as I use this more and more on this computer, I'm going to end up with 20, 30, 50, 100 documents. It might be nice if this is a document that I'm going to keep working on a lot over the next few weeks. It might be a good idea to try to get it to stay at the top of the list. Well, there is a way to do that. If you put
In this session, I'm going to demonstrate how to use the calendar feature in Microsoft Outlook. The calendar in Microsoft Outlook is a very powerful feature that is integrated within Microsoft Outlook along with email, contacts, and tasks and such. And that's what makes Microsoft Outlook so powerful in a business environment. The calendar feature not only allows you to keep track of your own appointments for specific dates and times, but it also allows you to schedule meetings with others and invite them to meetings and check their calendar and all that type of thing. Once you open Outlook, you have your emails and such, but here in the bottom left, you also have the option for calendar. Now on the left-hand side, you'll have the dates and times for the calendar. Further down, you'll have the multiple calendars that you might have access to. By default, you have access to only your own calendar. However, if other users choose to share their calendar with you, you'll be able to have access to their calendar as well over here, and we'll learn about that later. So basically, you have the months and the dates here on the left, and then on the right-hand side, you have these different views. Notice you have the today's view, the next 7 days. You have the view for just today, next 7 days. The work week, it's skipping the Saturday and Sunday here. The monthly view, and then just the scheduled view. So you're just looking at specific days and what your calendar looks like for those specific days. Manage calendars, where you can open somebody else's calendar, and group calendars, and you can email the calendar, share your calendar and publish it and all that type of thing, and check the calendar permissions. So typically in day-to-day work, you're going to probably use the day view first or the work week view, one of those views. Now, to create an appointment, there are a couple ways to do that. You could be on any of those views, it doesn't matter which one, but the day view, let's say I go here, it's about 12 o'clock, let's say at 2 o'clock, I select the block of time, and then I just type the appointment that I want to create. So, for example, and then simply hit enter. At this point, notice that once I hit enter, the appointment has been entered. At this stage, I have additional options here that show up about my appointment. So I could choose to show this as busy or tentative, or I'm free inside or out of the office. So free, of course, that means that somebody else can schedule an appointment with me. My calendar will look free to others, even though I have something scheduled for it. Working somewhere else and such, or tentative and busy and out of office, of course, that means what they say. And somebody will see that you're busy at that particular point in time for that block of time. Another way to create an appointment is by simply clicking here on New Appointment and then putting the subject. And then here I'm putting more details about my appointment. I could put my location, the date and time, how long it's going to be, and then I can put also additional details about my appointment. Additionally, you have more options, as you can see, and we'll touch on some of those other ones, such as the scheduling assistant and notes and all that type of thing shortly here. Notice you have this recurrence option, and this is how you can make a meeting so it shows up every, let's say this meeting takes place monthly on the 21st of every month, and then you want to end it after 10 occurrences. So that's how you do a repeating meeting. So pick your parameters here and then click OK, and then press save and close. Now, if we go into the monthly view, this will show up the same way from month to month. It's added to your calendar. So that's how you create a meeting for personal use and also create that meeting so that it shows up from month to month. You can also create a meeting for a specific date by simply going to the date first here on the calendar. So let's say you want to create a meeting for the 18th of January. Click on the 18th here. It takes you directly to that date, and then pick the time, so 8 to 9, and the meeting has been entered. Also specify whether this meeting is private or not. Notice up here on the very top, there is this option for private. When you mark a meeting as private, that means that if you give access to an assistant or somebody else, when you give them access, you can choose not to share the private meetings. It'll just show the time as busy for you, but they'll not see what you're doing. This would come in handy, for example, you're using your work calendar for personal meetings in the evenings and weekends, take out the trash or whatever. Your assistant doesn't need to know that at 7 o'clock you're going to take out the trash. You can just mark this meeting as a private meeting. So this is how you control it. You go right here under this and you choose to mark it private. As far as the sharing aspect of it, I'll cover that in a separate video shortly.
Hello and welcome to my e-lesson. I'm your guru, and in this video we will learn how to create a meeting in Outlook 2016. It's very simple. In the Home tab, you can create a meeting by going to the Home tab, clicking on New Items and choosing a meeting from here. Or else you can go to the Calendar view and from here choose New Meeting. So let's use the standard option that we were trying to do. Go to the Home tab, go to New Items, click on Meeting. And as soon as you open this meeting section, you would be now able to set a meeting very simply by typing in the names of the people you want to invite. So let's invite this person. And let's mention a course. So Microsoft Advanced Excel course. I want to have a meeting regarding this. All right. And where can we have that? Well, I can take the liberty of saying my cabin. And from here you can either select the start date, end date, and the timing, start time, end time, or make it an all-day event wherein you would be able to just choose the start and the end date, which is usually the same. If I uncheck it, then you can have a different start date and a different end date with a specific start time and a specific end time. From here, now we have another options which we can use, that is to copy it to my calendar so that it gets added to my calendar easily, and to add more people, which we can use by going to the address book. Now, this is very, very important. All right. I would like you to concentrate over here now. Now, what happens now when I typed the names over here in the to section, it would mean that these people are required to come over here in this meeting, else the meeting will not be meaningful. Now, there might be certain people, if they do not come, then it is okay. So to add such people, for example, say this person, we want to be an addition in the meeting, but if this person does not come, it's okay. Then we can click on this person's name and click on optional. So and click OK. So this way, this person would now be sent a meeting request, but he is not required exactly to be there. If he comes, fine. All right. Then the important section is response options. Now you get two options: request responses and allow new time proposals. Now, which means now currently these two are checked. That means once you receive a request for a meeting, you will be given an option to accept it, decline it, or suggest another time. All right, which is good to have, and allow new time proposals. So if you want the other people to say that this time is not good to me, I would like to suggest another time, then you can do that from here also. I would suggest rather unchecking this, just keep this one on, and then you can check your calendar settings from here so that it would show in your calendar in one of these options. In case it's a recurring meeting like a sales review or a performance review, weekly, monthly, or daily, then you can set the occurrence from here. You can choose a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly occurrence. The options from here change accordingly. Change all those options. You can set an end date from here. So there is no end date, or it can end after X number of occurrences or end by a specific date. Since I do not want the reoccurrence, I'm not checking it. You can set the importance here. All right. And that's it. You simply send it and it is gone. Now let us go to our email account. And we will find it in our sent items. Let me show you how. See, now once you get that email, it will have this option: accept, tentative, decline. Means accept, you want to come, and it will give you an option: send response now or later. And tentative, may come, may not come. Decline, I don't want to come, propose a new time. All right. So this is how we set a meeting and edit and invite other people, set a course, agenda, timings, location. And once you receive an invite, this is how it would look like. Now, if I want to edit it, all right, we can edit it also. How? Let me show you. Let me go to my calendar view, wherein this meeting should be showing. All right, this is the meeting. And let me show you. This is how it will show on your calendar, okay? If I double click it, I would be able to go to the edit mode. Now it says no responses have been received for this meeting. Of course, because people have not yet seen it. If they respond, so you will see how many people are coming, how many people are not coming. You can go to tracking and see the tracking status from here, right? In case you want to add more people, you can add more people from here. And we have added more people, and we can now go to our regular emails. And if I want to contact attendees, We can contact attendees also. Come here, okay. So this is how our attendees would get our mail. And then we have to click send update for any changes that we make. If you do not make any changes, if you do not click here, then people would not know. So we have to click on send updates. Even if you want to cancel a meeting, by clicking here would simply not cancel it. You will have to click on send cancellation, and that is how you will be able to cancel the meeting, and people would be aware that the meeting has been cancelled and it will be removed from their calendars. This is how we go ahead, set up meetings in Outlook, edit meeting, invite more people, and cancel it also. Hope you like this video. If you liked it, do click on like. If there is a question, please put it in the comments. And in case you want to watch more videos, you can go to my website, mylesson.org, and watch more videos similar to this over there. So until the next video, this is your Guru now signing off for the day. Have a wonderful day ahead. Happy learning.
First, you'll need to create the message itself. Open up a new email, leaving the address field blank, create your message. The subject I choose is Out of Office 1st to 7th of May. Next, write the text of your message. I'll be out of the office from 1st to 7th of May inclusive, and so on. But now, instead of sending it to someone, save it as a template. Go to File, then Save As, and select Save As Type, Outlook Template. Outlook will helpfully take you to the Templates folder, and you can name it Out of Office and the date, and then save it. That's the first step done. Next, we'll use Outlook's rules to set up a new rule that will send a reply using the template you've just saved. Go to Rules, Manage Rules and Alerts, and create a new rule. It's a logical process that you build step by step. I want to start with a blank rule and apply the rule after the message arrives. Next, I choose where my name is in the To box and click Next. That means the message will reply automatically to anything that's sent to me. Then I choose Reply using a specific template. I choose the template I've just saved by clicking on the link here and selecting User Templates in the file system. There it is. Click on it and select Open. I can see the rule building in the box here, and it's showing the correct template. Next, you're offered the chance to specify exceptions. Now this is very important. If someone sends you an automated message, you don't want to reply automatically to that, because you'll set up a chain reaction of ping-pong messages that will quickly flood everyone's inbox, including your own. So select Except if it's an automated reply. You can select other exceptions if you want. The final step is to finish the rule setup, and you're given two options. The first option is to apply the rule to everything in the inbox, and you definitely don't want to do that. The second option is simply to turn the rule on. You can either leave it until you're about to go away, or you can turn it on right now. Turning it on produces a warning message. It will only work if you leave Outlook on and running. It's not magic. You can test it by sending yourself an email from a different account. And when you get back to the office, remember to turn the rule off. Go to Rules, Manage Rules, and simply uncheck the rule. That's it. Now you're back to normal, and you can start to answer the 1,700 emails or so that have arrived since you went away. Of course, you could always have